Pleasant good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Maritime Matters. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain. Tonight, our show centers around the management of Portsea Dock, Royal Caribbean's Royal Beach Club approval concerns, the Bahamas as a major carbon sink for world benefit, and how we can capitalize on deriving financial returns from this ordeal. Preparations for the world to meet the global mandate of stopping the projected average temperature from rising to beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade, which will, of course, prove to be a total disaster to our Earth as we know it. Very soon, people, the industry will be compelled to provide verification that they are working toward meeting net zero carbon emissions surrounding their operational activities. Net zero carbon emission, zero carbon emission by 2050. Net zero leading up to 2050, meaning they can offset some of the carbon they put in the air by buying carbon credits that will be available from those that are actually either capturing the carbon out of the environment and storing it in the earth, or, of course, those countries like the Bahamas that are on an ongoing basis sequestrating or sequestrating carbon out of the environment to save the world. So, of course, as always, we open the show by making mention of numerous other current maritime matters, such as the regulations of Portsea Dock. The sunken trans cargo remains at Portsea Dock. I took a drive out there. Just like one of our former prime ministers used to hop in a little private car and take rides and have a look around. And ain't nobody know me. I know all the people in low places except some of them said on Portsea. They ain't know me. Some know me, a lot know me, but a lot don't know me. So I was skating around, looking, just checking to see if anything changed. And some people may say, man, why you don't leave the port alone? I ain't leaving them alone because this maritime and this local maritime and we got to get this right. So I ain't seen that much change. I still see the transcargo on the bottom of the sea, and I expected to see the transcargo on the bottom of the sea because to mobilize the equipment to deal with the transcargo is not an easy feat. That's going to take time, that's going to take money, that's going to take effort, far more so than if the transcargo was told to remove from the dock. We know that didn't happen. So, it sits on the bottom. And guess what? While transcargo is sitting on the bottom, the next ship on the outside of transcargo tie up to the transcargo. Boy, that one look a little shaky too. So you think they're trying to say, well, if this one can sing, we can sing too? I don't know. I ain't call no name, care, no blame. All I said is it looked a little awkward that they allowed that ship to stay alongside a ship what is actually on the bottom. What might the timeline be on this fiasco? Are we giving it timelines? What about the other vessels and ships and at Portsea Dock that are ported to sink? You all remember ported, right? 3 pairs. You port it when you get 2 pairs and then whoever get 3 win the game. But a lot of vessels at Portsea just ported to sink. Have those other non-operational ships been moved as yet? No, they have not. Because when I go on there, I see all annum. And when you get by the old bridge, and you look between the 2 bridges, and you go out on the waterfront, you see like a bunch of steel sticking out the water in about 3 places. They were all steel freighters that were sitting there for so long, and they just sink. And they were there for years. You can look at it and see they was there for years, all rusty up and will they ever move? I guess the government have to find money to move them. Well, I know the government, if they can move, ain't nobody can spend money for them to move. The government gonna have to go in our purse, called the Treasury, and set some money aside to have those vessels removed. It's not only eyesore. Those vessels are also navigation hazards because during the night time you can't see them. And if somebody think they can come to the dock and they run over one of them, that's history. I mean, your boat could get wrecked. You may get holes in the boat. You see, we just take too much for granted. We're just a slack set of people. And I tell the dock master at Port Department, and he has to know, because this was going on now for years. And the port controller need to go out there and look around so he could know. And the permanent secretary, the PS, need to go out there and look around. So, Mr. PS, you could know. I know, yeah, that's a woman. I don't care. Mr. PS is because it's not the person. I always tell you, it's not the person that holding that job right now, you know. It's the chair itself. Whoever sit in that chair as PS need to be going to Porter's Key and having a look around. Whoever sit in the chair as minister, and yes, minister, you need to go on Porter's Key dock and you need to have a look around because things are totally out of whack. And the buck stops with the minister. You read the Port Authority Act and see who the buck stops with. You read the Merchant Shipping Act and see who the buck stops with. You read the Boat Registration Act and you see who the buck stops with. You read the Porter's Key regulations and see who the buck stops with. You read the Water Ski and the Motorboat Control Act and see who the buck stops with the minister. And should we go higher? Mr. Prime Minister, you know use my role Avenue 1. Buddy, we go way back. I didn't know you then because you're a little older than me. And you didn't know me then because you're a little younger than me. But you remember when you were your first job to Honda, you was working with my Uncle Prince and Emerson them. Prince nephew, that's who he is. Mr. Prime Minister, you need to take some ride on Porter's Key dock, sir. You need to have a look and put your foot down where you could put it. And I know you could put it down hard if you want to. So I say, we have to bring semblance to Porter's Key dock. And I ain't leaving that alone. So I don't care who say what may come. We, the Bahamians, need to make sure that Porter's Key dock is fixed. Look at Prince George Wharf. Look at Arawa Key. Arawa Key used to be something like that, you know. It shouldn't always have to be where you got to get it a PPP. Public-private partnership. And the government hands ain't really in it no more for us to get this thing right. No, we calling on our government officials to get it right now. We don't want to shovel that off. Porter's Key dock could be the best run little operation in the world if we put some focus and we put some foot down on what's going on. It used to be, you know, back in the old days, Mr. Leon Flowers had that dock ticking and rocking. And it ain't impossible. And if you see where it was to where it is now, and I'm not blaming you, my Royal Avenue and buddy, Mr. Prime Minister. I'm not blaming the current minister, not the current PS or the current Port Authority Board chairman. I am blaming all the prime ministers, all the port chairmen, all the port controllers from way back 20-something years ago. Because this thing ain't just happened. But you know what? We gotta get it sorted out. We who are now in place can no longer just sit and watch this thing continue. I wouldn't even dare say this thing get worse. I don't care who these people are who own these vessels. I can't blame them. They are being allowed to run this place into havoc. Because those that are charged by law to do so, they're not doing it. It's like they don't even know. But I know they know. And if they know, they need to know. And they need to go there and check so that they could put some heavy hand down and get this thing organized. Because it is totally ridiculous. It is totally out of hand. And one thing I hate is slackness. Yeah, sometimes I get a little slack, but I still hate slackness. So, those fishing boats, Why are they taking up? Guess what I saw when I was on Porter's Key? I saw 2 mail boats, legitimate mail bag carrying, toting mail boats, side by side. And I was like, hold on. You're supposed to be one behind the next. Why are these boats along? Why is that one alongside this one? Oh, my brother. You see, when we came in, there was no space on the dock. Because all the fishing boats, they, as you could see, they all over it. They leave no room for us to dock. So you know what that mean? That mean that once the mail boat leave, the fishing boats take over. Even when the mail boat return, they can't get to the dock because the fishing boats that should not be authorized to be where a mail boat. Do you know that each of those slips is registered to a mail boat? We used to have names for which boat using which slip on the dock. They got berthing slips that are numbered, and they allow fishing boats and tugboats and non-operational boats to just sit in the spot of where I don't even know if they ever updated the list from the time I was in the port. And we got so much different boats now. You know, we only get a couple boats left that don't have a ramp. In other words, they cannot do roll on, roll off. In other words, these vessels have to be alongside the dock and use their cranes to get things in and out their cargo hold and get vehicles, get everything on and off that boat. So they need a dock side. And you get one mail boat sitting on the next one. They can't even offload because the dock is taken up by a bunch of fishing boats. Do we have a dock master and port department crew there to make sure that this is not happening? Because back in the day when I used to work in the port, no fishing boat will take the chance of being in a dock where a mail boat's supposed to be. But now it looks like everybody do what they want. Do what you want. This ain't for no mail boat. This is for anybody who get the voice. So please, Mr. Port Department, please. You ain't got that much to deal with, you know. Porter's Key Dock is the only dock in this island that the Port Department is obligated to regulate. So why we can't just regulate Porter's Key Dock? That's where we need to go, ladies and gentlemen. We need to regulate Porter's Key Dock. And anybody who goes out to Porter's Key Dock, even if you just go there to get little eats, right? Because that's what most of us go there for. Well, maybe not. Because you go there on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Man, the amount of those big trucks coming in from these wholesale places. They supplying the family islands with wholesale grocery for the food stores, and that's needed. Excuse me, that's very needed. But does that transaction need to be done at Porter's Key? I say no. Why should a big truck loaded with stuff be going to Porter's Key just to pass some stuff to an area on the dock where they would later put it on the boat? Why can't that big truck or big van go to a location over the hill where the vessel itself has a warehouse? Because if you're doing business, you shouldn't be using the government dock to do your business. The government dock is for when you then fill that container or whatever you need to bring, and that container just drives out there and goes straight on. Don't even let the container sit on the dock. And that's another issue. How many containers do we have at Porter's Key Dock that are just sitting there getting in everybody's way? We got stacks and we got 40-foot containers, probably even 45-foot containers, not just 20-footers, you know. These long containers, you know they ain't supposed to be on the road. I mean, they actually line the road with these containers, so cars could only do the road. You can't pull on the side because the container in the way. Why? You know why? Because these people are using Porter's Key Dock as their location for cargo handling. Excuse me. I use Porter's Key Dock as your location to bring your stuff to pass to the boat. And all these boat owners, especially if you got a mail bag, should have their office over a hill with their warehouse where they take on, and when the boat comes in, dear listener, when the boat comes in with all the cargo, that cargo should leave the boat and go straight over the hill. Not try and put everything on the dock, and as people come out there, oh, which one is yours, or that pallet over there. No. You do that at your location over the hill. Porter's Key's government property. You shouldn't be doing business out there as a mail boat owner on Porter's Key Dock. Now, there is a difference. There is a difference. Because we still have a couple of those low, meaning load on, load off vessels. And the low vessels don't have no a map. So they got to lift everything onto the dock. Then they can lift everything off the dock on to the ship when they take it on to go to the Family Islands. But I say again, have your office over the hill, and you do your lifting on and lifting off over the hill, and you get a truck with a forklift, and you truck your stuff from Porter's Key Dock. When you come in, you truck your stuff to your location where people will then collect their cargo. You truck your stuff, the people will come and release their cargo to you over the hill, and when it's time for your boat to leave and take it on freight, you get your long truck which can take pallet, and you put your pallets on that truck, strap them down, and you take them to Porter's Key Dock, and you put them on your ship without getting involved with people trying to say, oh, I want you to do this, oh, I want you to do. No! Porter's Key Dock is a waking dock. That ain't no dock where you should be doing transactions with people who come for freight. No, do all that stuff over the hill, man. And then we wouldn't have to have no container sitting on Porter's Key Dock. Not one. Because if you sit on Porter's Key Dock, you can pay $100 a day. And even if you think you could just pay $100 a day and leave that, at some point, we either throw that away for you and make you pay a fine, because we don't want it sitting on Porter's Key Dock. Porter's Key Dock should be for people to come and drive around and look at the vessels, and people come out there to have meals, and owners and crew could come and they could park without any big problem. And these people coming to these vessels, they wait up on the vessel. You know, sometimes when the vessel, when you get a little swell in the vessel going up and down, they could get their foot caught in a rope. Right? Because there's no barricade, no restriction. It's like safety doesn't exist on Porter's Key Dock. So we shouldn't even have them coming near those boats like that. Because if they could go over the hill to the company that owns the boat to do their transaction, they would not. And a lot of people don't want to come on Porter's Key Dock, you know. They don't want. You think people like coming out there? You know, there's a drive to Porter's Key Dock on a busy day. No, we don't want to be coming out there. I wouldn't want to be coming out there. So, you know, I guess I didn't lick this enough. Because, you know, we need the dock masters to surface. We need the deputy port controller to surface. We need the port controller to surface. We don't need the minister to surface. We don't, the Port Authority Board, the members, the 12 members, the deputy chairman and the chairman. Where are you? The minister and PS. Please pay a little visit and call the port department, find out what's going on. Because if you go out there like I go out there, you'll see these things. Nobody can come report this to you. You see this and come Monday morning or come like you could call the port controller and ask him, I see this, and take pictures with your phone, take videos. That's why we get cell phones that can do all these things now. Take video and send it to him that night. We got to call these things out. And we got to understand who and where the responsibilities lie for this chaos. No more room for fluff, people. Let's get Porter's Key Dock fixed. And you want to talk about what's in the news today with Royal Caribbean? the Royal Beach Club over Paradise Island. All kind of disputes. But you know what? We could do that after we take our first break. Let me catch myself a little bit and then come to find out what is Royal Caribbean dealing with. Thank you very much.
At Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited, we offer first-class maritime security services throughout the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean. As experts in maritime security, we specialize in production of ISPS assessments and plans, verification audits, certified familiarization training, and port security consultancy, just to name a few. Our services also include provision of a security force to maintain all required ISPS facility security compliance. For all your maritime security needs, visit us today in Nassau at our East Street South location or in Freeport in the Kipling Building. Call us at 392-3515 or follow us on all social media platforms. Bahamas Maritime Connection, your leader in maritime security. Let's help you make the connection. At One-on-One Pharmacy, our friendly staff is ready to serve you. Visit us today for all your prescription and over-the-counter needs at our East Street South or Charles Saunders Highway locations. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 9 to 4 on Sundays. In a rush? Send your refill scripts online at oneononepharmacy.com or ask about our convenient pickup service. One-on-One Pharmacy, providing personal health care with people at heart.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting in the evening.
Welcome back to Maritime Matters, ladies and gentlemen. Good little break that. Oh man, I drank some water. I needed that break. At this point, I'd like to, give a shout out to my good number one fan, my Annie Mae up there in Freeport, 90 years and going strong. Rock steady, Annie Mae, continue to rock steady. You's my girl. May get to talk today, but tomorrow morning we can be at it. So I say good night to Annie Mae and her good daughters, Lorraine, Margot, Vernice. What the next one name? Lord, in trouble now. Anyway, we move on. Our sponsors for the night show, ladies and gentlemen, it's One-on-One Pharmacy, as you heard during the commercial. Also, Island Care. Island Care is the new one in Freeport, just opposite Scotia Bank. On that Pioneers Way, whatever that road name. But yeah, I know Freeport Road is like Nassau Road. But once you go directly across the road from the Regent Square, near Scotia Bank area, you will walk right into it. You could run into it if you could run. That is Island Care Pharmacy. My good little cousin Shantia McBride and her good lovely set of people, they take best care of you. It's a little small, but guess what? They got everything you want. So don't sweat it. Get it. In Nassau, of course, we got One-on-One Pharmacy on East Street South and Charles Saunders Highway. So if you ever in those areas, and even if you're not in those areas and you need some pharmaceutical something, man, find One-on-One Pharmacy. They will fix you up. And you all fellas who think you're all old like me, they could fix you all up too. I say no more. When you walk in the door, they treat you with royalty. Hello. Of course, let them know Maritime Matters sent you, and hey, they may just take something off their little something, who knows? Boy, I think they can fix me up. So let them know Maritime Matters sent you. Boy, Maritime Matters say you all got everything, and they'll be quite happy to fix you up. We are also sponsored by Bahamas Maritime Connection. That's us people, Bahamas Maritime Connection, BMC. We do all ISPS services. We will do your assessment, your plan, your audits, your annual audits. We will do your training. We will do your anything. We consultancy. You tell us what you want, we'll do it. We are the ones in the business that could get the job done. I need to get a couple others, so you can check them too. They're my boys. To the listening audience out there, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the man behind the controls. Our wonderful producer, you know the guy, man. The guy, where them Gibsons from? Them Gibsons from, they say Savannah Sound, eh? That's where I know most of the Gibsons from. Savannah Sound, Lanwell Point, yeah, Gibson. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you tonight the insatiable, the man of the hour, the man with all the power, my friend Lester Cox. This is drummer. He is fully able, quite capable, the one and only Mr. Craig Gibson. No salute. Okay, Craig Reedon. You're listening to Maritime Matters, people. On this show, we talk maritime. I think we can open the lines now. We're going to open the lines for those who want to call in. The number to call would be 328. Is it 326? See, I'm getting mixed up. My goodness, how long have I been in here? 326-8255. 326-8255. Maritime Matters airs weekly at 19:30 every Tuesday night here on Love 97 FM. Purpose of our show: to highlight persons that made significant contributions to the maritime in the Bahamas and to sensitize Bahamians of opportunities, jobs, etc. in the maritime sector. And we can talk about RCI and all them jobs, eh? We also cover current maritime issues from the domestic and international maritime fields. Halfway through the show, we would normally open the phone lines, but we just opened it just now. So again, the lines are open. Number to call, 326-8255. Now, talk about Porter's Key Dock. Let's move on to what's pounding the areas today. The approval of Royal Beach Club that is owned by Royal Caribbean International or Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. I suppose Royal Caribbean International own the cruise lines too. I don't know. But I'll say RCI, Royal Beach Club. And again, if you want to chime in, the number to call is 326-8255. Numerous Bahamian environmentalists, they are advocating that this approval should not have been given already because it's kind of premature. And they might be right. But they're saying that some questions, and there's a whole series of questions that were put to RCI during a town meeting, that they're saying that a lot of these questions haven't been answered. But you know what? RCI don't do the approval. The approval is done by the authorities that deals with these things, eh? So let's not say RCI should be in problem for getting approval. Whoever gave them the approval, we need to look at. And what does the law say about these things? I don't know. But my thing is, RCI is not in place yet. RCI, as far as I recall, had a town meeting where they answered all the call. We got a call on the line. Let's hold for a second and see what the caller wants. Caller, you on Maritime Matters. Good night to you and hello.
Yes, good night, Mr. Green. How you doing, sir?
Top shape and getting better, my friend. How are you?
All right, I'm good, man. Thank God for life. Your guess is who?
My guess is you. The callers and myself.
I thought you had a guess.
No guess tonight. Yes, sir.
I want to chime in on the RCL approval. And my whole thing about it is that here it is another new incentive added to the tourism industry. Something added because we're running out of things for these tourists to do when they come here.
That's right, and we're getting more and more cruise tourists at any one time, eh? Almost 30,000 in one day sometimes.
Yeah, but GB, and like I said, it's another added incentive, and I think we should be proud of it, man.
Yeah, but you know what, Brother Gunn? You remember back in the day, because you've been out there just as long as me, right? You remember back in the day when they used to have these cruise ships come in, and they used to take people to like Blue Lagoon Island and some of those places, and they used to have a whole crew of ship staff going to those quays to serve, going to those quays to cook, and they used to be taking food off the ship. You remember that happening?
Man, Jimmy, listen, I know a very, very good friend of mine. He used to run a ferry boat.
Right.
He had a contract with the Dolphin. He used to carry all of the crew and the food on the island. They do these things for years and years.
Yeah, and I thought that had stopped, but they're still doing that, you think?
And like I said, if there's nobody saying anything about it. Nobody.
Well, I heard Mr. Toby, the gentleman that got the contract for he got the Crown grant for the lighthouse. I think he got 3 acres, or he applied for more, but they give him up to 3 at this point. I think he's still fighting for the rest. But I heard him say on a talk show today that it is intended, or he thinks it's intended, that Royal Caribbean is going to bring their own people on the quay to serve food, and they could be bringing food from the ship. I hope that ain't the case.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know where you get this information from. But all we got to do is just hope that ain't the case.
Well, we will make sure that ain't the case, because I am with you when you say we made that project, but I'm not going to compromise the integrity of our laws. Because one thing we don't need is servers and cooks and food off no ship. We don't want nothing coming off that ship except people.
Except people. No, GB, and I sanction that 110%.
Thank you very much, my friend. So how are things going with you? Everything cool otherwise, eh?
Man, GB, listen, man, you always do slap me in and I ready to come.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, you know how we roll. Let me know. Well, we every Tuesday, you only get pick your Tuesday. Anytime you ready, you ain't coming as no guest no more. You coming as my co-host.
Okay, well, I come in and sit in the chair next to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
so let me hit me up this week, man. Let's wake something. Make wake something for the next show.
Man, Jimmy, listen, man. All you gotta do is just sing it and I'll win it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'll get in touch with you. If not tomorrow, then sometime before this week out, and we could make it tentative that you'll be in here with me next week Tuesday, my brother.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you so much for calling, and let's keep in touch.
Yes, sir. I'll stay tuned in because I believe I might have to chime in again.
Well, that's fine with me. Let's keep chiming in, man. The sky's the limit up in here. Only me and you and everybody else. So let's roll.
Let's roll.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's my good friend, Brother Johnson. He had been on the show with me before, and boy, did he light up the airways. That man has a lot of experience. He ties up the big cruise ships. That's what he does. He secures them to the dock, and he also ties up cargo ships and car boats, and he's a stevedore. That man has been on the waterfront now with 40 plus years, and ain't nobody can talk nothing but he ain't about, because he can tell you. But my concern about RCI, which everybody who would have heard me in the past would know that I 1000% support this project. Although my good buddy, my favorite caller, my best friend, well, he ain't calling tonight because I don't know if he could call tonight because I don't think he can listen to the show right now. But he seemed to have a different view, And some of the concerns about RCI is the fact that RCI on that property over there will have too many people. I think it's some 2,700 plus. They saying for a couple acres space, that's too much people. Man, I never seen no land sink in my life because you get too much people. Land don't sink. You can put too much people on a boat, the boat ain't necessarily can sink unless it rough it a tip over. There's no such as too much people. The whole northern side of that whole area is nothing but fantastically beautiful. You know what used to be over there? Club Med Beach. Now anybody from back in the day know what Club Med Beach is all about. They never used to wear much clothes. So Club Med Beach used to be over there, and I can tell you that that's probably the best beach in I remember one time I went over there. Something going down. I think when boat did sink, something going down. That's on the fence for us. When we had our gun and wearing our fatigue there, and we were told that we had to go and search or look through some things, and man, you're walking through the crowd, and I mean the beach loaded with people, and we walking through with our gun and stuff, and we had to tell some people cover up yourself. Some Club Med people don't play. But the French people, they don't like much clothes, right? So I say that to say this: that is a beautiful beach. That beach alone could hold 3,000 people. And I'm guessing this. The beach can hold the people. They have people ashore in swimming pools, as far as I understand, right? They can have people ashore in bars and restaurants. Well, I don't know about much restaurant to the extent that there's going to be probably finger food, but I think it's going to be a lovely, and people talk about when they go to RCI, that's people coming off the ship and going straight there. Let me tell you something. People come straight off the ship and go straight to some of our big time properties now. Some people come off the ship and go straight to South Ocean to do diving. Well, maybe not so much now because I don't think Stewart Cove open right now. But they just begin to all over the place straight. See what happens when you do a cruise there, listener. You pay for what they call tours and visits. And you pay that in advance and the people come and get you as a group. And they take you away from it all. And when they bring you back, they drop you back in the port. Now, if you want to go wandering around, if you have enough time to go downtown or do this or do that. But now these people who go to the Royal Beach Club, they are going to be taken over there. And when they're coming back, you think the ferry could drop them straight back to the ship? No! They could get dropped off by Wood Rogers Wharf somewhere or on the back of Berry Cay where the ferry boat bring people, and they can have an option to walk through downtown, and then they have to come through the gate like everybody else to get to their ship, so they could see what the port is offering and this and that. So it ain't like they could be in a clothes shop where they come, get picked up straight off the ship, go straight to the quay or to Royal Beach Club. And when it's time to come back, they take them from Royal Beach Club and bring them straight back to the ship. No, it ain't that kind of party. And if it's that kind of party, we have to fix that. But based on what I was told, I understand it ain't that kind of party. Right? Some people have this big concern. We got another call on the line. Call you on Maritime Matters. Good night to you and welcome.
Yes, good night to you, Captain Glendane, and good night to your wife and Steve and all your family.
Yes, Lady Veronique.
Upon you, I give thanks to the Almighty God, through Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you so much, my dear. Thank you so much.
Good night to my mortal boss.
Indeed.
Former Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Ingram, and all of those who are in leadership. The leader, the buck never stops with the leader. And that's one of the reasons I am adamant that the Lyndon Pinley name must be cleared. And good night to Her Excellency for life, Dame Margaret Pinley, and also Her Excellency announced Mrs. Cynthia Alexandria Pratt. I want to give respect because you brought up this situation at Portishead.
Yes, ma'am.
The UBP, we must always respect the United Bahamian Party.
Well, you know I wasn't around in them days, but I go with you.
Yes,
go ahead.
But see, we have haters of white human beings. That is real. And that is one of the reasons why I always, on the show.
Yeah, but Miss Veronique, didn't we have a lot of oppression from the UBP? Because my mommy tell me some things that ain't sound too good. She been around in the UBP days.
No, we have the history that we must share, okay? From Sir Stafford Sands, you would hear Phil Stubbs speaking about Sir Stafford Sands as a national hero. Another individual is sizing and calling some other people heroes. We must come together as one nation because, see, that royal priesthood and that peculiar people, that is biblically just like Pharisaical.
Yes, ma'am.
And the opposition and this administration now must come together. I am so happy that the Commonwealth women had their meeting because for years I have been on this radio show. I have all forms of intelligence.
So what they saying about Portishead? What they saying about Portishead Dock, Miss Veronique? What they saying about Portishead Dock? Let's get back to Portishead. What's going on?
I'm getting back to Portishead Dock because that's why I'm calling.
Thank you, Annie.
And all of the wrecks that are there. We are independent, yes. However, we are still codependent because the machinery that is needed, the Minister of Transport ought to have put in works already to try and clear those areas and lay down strict rules, okay? When you are a woman, you ought to go that extra mile, not that you need to, because you must show them that you are able to do on this gender equality demand that they have on. They're using as an excuse. However, right there on Potoski Dock,
Mm-hmm.
the minister ought to take part in this discussion as of next week, because that is dangerous.
So are we gonna get?
Navigational danger that is there.
So the minister is getting ready to have that boat moving.
The minister ought to have all of her people put their feet down and cause rules and regulations to be complied with.
Thank you very much.
Non-compliance.
That's right,
and
my
when
dear.
they get that together, there will be monies in the treasury. We don't need to increase. Just cause penalties.
Just get it organized.
And just late penalties.
Thank you very
and
much.
if they have any monies that is owed to anybody else, all they have to say, well, okay, the monies must be accessed, because we have had financial crimes in every aspect, and that is one of the reasons why I tell all the police officers, the commissioners, that has to be dealt with, because I was the lead investigator on this entire situation, Berenice Johnson, the original. And we must partner with the United States of America first and foremost.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we must always respect the divine defender of the faith in Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Always.
Because the earth is the Lord, King Charles III, and Queen Consort Camilla. And
Thank you.
all that information has to come together with all of our former nation leaders, and especially our white Bahamians.
Yes,
God
ma'am.
bless you and keep you.
Thank you so much, Miss Veronique. Thank you so much, and take care. Continue to do well.
Okay.
All right. So that's Miss Veronique Johnson. She's a avid caller of the show, and she is always shedding light on what's going on. And of course, she have an upbringing and a background, and that's how she roll. And that's my buddy, and I roll. I along with her. I roll how I roll. She roll how she roll. Sometimes we agree to disagree. No problem with that. But I love her contributions. So, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking again about Royal Beach Club doing some things. And I started out by saying, I like the idea of them spending all that money developing that area and giving the cruise ship passengers another avenue to go and vent. Because they're going to go to one of the best beaches in this country. And I know people talk about, Harbour Island Beach, Boynton Beach on Cat Island, Boynton Beach in Windermere Island, Boynton Beach. Because ain't nobody could tell me nothing but beaches in this Bahamas. Because I've been on beaches, on some of those deserted keys, where when you walk, you're the only one who's been on that beach. And until the tide come up, it's only your footprints in the sand. I've been to all the keys in the Ragged Island, all the keys in the Exumas, all the keys in the Abacos. You name it. Keysal. It was my job to go and check those keys out. And as part of checking the keys out, you will walk the beach. Because sometimes you can't get on the bay because it's so rocky and rough. You won't walk the beach until you finish searching the key. So I know the good beach. And I can tell you, that beach, that Club Med beach we used to call it, that beach to the north side, northwestern side of Paradise Island, that is a wonder to behold. And many of us would have seen it, but most of us would not. So don't just think the Royal Beach Club means they get on land and take a recipe over the party and all that. No. Most of them will be on that beach. And then now, make sure now, because you cannot own anything above the high water mark plus 50 feet in. So most of our sandy beaches cannot be owned by anybody because it is reserved for all Bahamians. So now what I don't like is the thought that the owner of that property will want to be renting beach chairs. How you can rent beach chairs and that in your property? No. Let a local Bahamian come and provide beach chairs for rent. And like how when you go to Coco Key that they own, and Half Moon Key that the next set own, and Castaway Key that the next set own, they providing the jet skis and the parasail and the non-motorized equipment on our property. No, sir. Let's get a local Bahamian to provide these equipment on our property. You see, I don't like greed. I don't like to think and hear that these cruise ships owners, because they own a certain section, they want to take up everything. Man, you don't make enough money from what they're doing, you know. But let the small man take care of what goes on our property. You can't own our beach. You can't be selling jet ski tours. You can't be selling non-motorized equipment. No. Let our people do that. Get together with the port department. Find out which entity you're going to give the green light to operate from your property. But you don't try to be the operator. You don't try to be the one who owns the equipment. All them people up in Berry Islands and Cat Island and Saudi Lutra, they could provide jet ski service at these keys and stuff and make themselves a living. But the hogs want to keep it all for yourself. Yeah, you can keep what is yours on your land, but you don't own our beach. Yes, I said it, and I don't care. I know the law. And I hate to see when foolishness going on like that. No, let the locals deal with that. So Toby, you got my support if in fact what you're suggesting is actually what is intended, that people would be coming off these ships, non-Bahamians would be coming off these ships and bringing food and bringing towels. I don't even want a towel coming off these ships to be going on our beach. Not even a towel. We can provide towels. Somebody can have a business just providing towels over there. And they can pay their bills and send their children to school. So, I don't know what's in the heads of agreement, but one thing I do know is when it comes to our beach, that is reserved for us to be making money from. Now your bars and your pools, anything on your land within your jurisdiction of the property that we lease to you, you could do your own thing. But again, we don't want you bringing nothing off that ship on that beach club. Buy it from the local suppliers. You cannot be taking things. You aren't paying custom duty on none of that. But really and truly, your ship shouldn't be in customs this man. Anybody from customs here in the show, please call me, let me know. If they could be taking anything of these ships to any one of these keys or private islands, or what, mind you, they've been doing it all along, I think. And I know there were times when I would have gone to certain places and tell them, this is illegal, you need to get Bahamians to do this. But they don't listen to me. But they have to start listening. Because we, the Bahamian people, ain't taking that foolishness no longer. So if that's part of your plan, RCI, please get with the program. You're not like Atlantis and Bahamas and whatever one name out south, Albany. No, they on land. Your ship is not land. Nothing should leave your ship except people. And we need to make sure that happens, Mr. Government. We need to make sure that happens. We can't be allowing them to do what they please and violating our regulations. It shouldn't happen. So that's how they're rolling with RCI. At this time, we'll move to our second break. When we come back, we are going to deal with how all the Bahamians should be rich by 2050. All of us should be multi-millionaires based on all this carbon sinks we have in this country. Mr. Producer, did you be kind enough to take us to break, sir? Thank you very much, my friend. Tell you I get the best producer in the world.
At One-on-One Pharmacy, our friendly staff is ready to serve you. Visit us today for all your prescription and over-the-counter needs at our East Street South or Charles Saunders Highway locations. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 9 to 4 on Sundays. In a rush? Send your refill scripts online at oneononepharmacy.com or ask about our convenient pickup service. One-on-One Pharmacy, providing personal health care with people at heart. At Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited, we offer first-class maritime security services throughout the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean. As experts in maritime security, we specialize in production of ISPS assessments and plans, verification audits, certified familiarization training, and port security consultancy, just to name a few. Our services also include provision of a security force to maintain all required ISPS facility security compliance. For all your maritime security needs, visit us today in Nassau at our East Street South location or in Freeport in the Kipling Building. Call us at 392-3515 or follow us on all social media platforms. Bahamas Maritime Connection, your leader in maritime security. Let's help you make the connection.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Just sitting on the dock of the
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Maritime Matters. We got a packed show tonight. We have some wonderful callers calling to chime in on some of the things that's going on. We started to talk about the regulations at Porter's Dock. And as we know, Porter's Dock is hardly even regulated. Everybody doing their own thing, and we're gonna have to make sure that the existing administration put their foot down and get this thing in order. We ain't gonna wait for the next one. We want it to happen now. It's been going on chaos for too long, so we ain't blaming them, but we can blame them if it don't fix. Okay, we got a call on the line. Caller, welcome to Maritime Matters. Thank you so much for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Bain.
Good afternoon, my friend.
God is good.
God is great.
Can I participate in the topic you raised about Porter's Dock?
My brother, you know you could participate in the topic, and I would very much like to hear your views on it.
Yes, I frequent Porter's Dock because I have to go there to also send freight for my beloved mom who resides in Mgmt.
Wow. Okay.
And I see the condition of a sunken boat. It's on the east side of Porter's Key.
That's correct.
And I see all the derelict and the hygiene, the contamination of the water. My career is surrounded by health and hygiene. And I am concerned about persons who participate in eating conch salad from out there.
I agree, but do you realize that there's sewage treatment plant at nearby that's at Malcolm Park that
Yes.
kind of seeps into the water sometimes?
Yes, sir. I'm quite aware of that, and my concern is the boat has already sunk,
Right.
and I don't know if it's politically tied or etc. But I was told that the person who owned owned that boat also had a boat sunk earlier in the year, and it seems like nothing can be done with this person.
Well, the bottom line is I cannot blame the person because the person is not authorized by law to do nothing. The people who we authorize by law and we are paying to make sure that person don't get away with the foolishness is who I gotta blame. But I know the person you're talking about, and I agree with you.
Well, the concern is my concern is have a little idea what health and hygiene is all about.
That's right.
I am concerned that the minister of that's come on the transport.
Transport, that's correct.
I don't know
Transport and
who is
housing.
the minister for transport.
Well, they come and they go, and I always speak to the chair. I don't speak to the person.
Okay, well, I believe that they should be well aware of the condition because it's an eyesore, and it's not a very good eyesore to be seeing.
It's not only an eyesore; it also means that nobody could use that space.
Right, and yes, it's an abandoned space, and I think now I am not the expert on maritime. I stick in my field, but I listen to you often so I can be educated and informed.
I appreciate
but I am
you.
surprised that a noted brother of ours, myself and you, I thought he frequent that area. I thought he would have already called in and give his knowledge because I know that he's much more qualified than I am.
He is, but he's out of town. He's out of town right now. But he's
I am aware of that. I am aware of that. I think the last time that I gave him service.
Yes.
But it
yes.
seems like he's no longer becoming a nationalist.
Oh yeah, man. He always call. He always call. A couple shows he didn't call, and I got any case. But recently he's been calling and really giving some good contributions.
I want you to let them know that I am concerned. Myself and you, we are concerned that he seems to be compromising his position in terms of his knowledge that he has, and he's now traveling more than paying attention on what's going on in our country because he frequents that particular area. So when he come back, we need him on the show, and we need to know why he is not accountable to what's going on in our country.
I am with you, Doctor.
I am disappointed in him.
I am with you,
and I want
Doctor.
the nation to know. We're not going to call any names.
Yes,
We know
yes,
who I'm talking
yes.
about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we are disappointed in him. We expect him to be more accountable. So you could relay the message to him.
Yes, sir.
So when he come in by me, I will confirm that is what I said.
That's good. And when he come to your establishment, you put licks on him, and when I catch up with him, I can put licks on. All of us will be putting licks on him. So you have to come on the show sometime.
Thank you. We know that he's qualified.
Yes, sir.
to give
Very,
us
very much so.
His assessment on that particular issue.
Indeed. So thank you so much for your call. I do appreciate that call very much, my friend.
Thank you very much.
And continue to take care of yourself.
God bless you.
Yes, God bless you too. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, boy, he would like this kind of topic. You know, chairman on Portuguese Dock, chairman on Royal Caribbean. We didn't get much to say about our net zero, our zero carbon emissions by 2050, but I really don't know if we can have much to say about that either today, because this, between Portus Key and Royal Caribbean, we need to really focus and make things happen. You see, we already know that Mr. Government ain't gonna do it. We don't know Mr. Government ain't gonna do it unless we put enough pressure on Mr. Government to pay some attention and do. And you know something? Many times we just make the assumption that the government knows what's going on everywhere. But we the people are part of the government. They, in many cases, just don't know what's going on. And unless we, unless we bring it to their attention and lick it, they they will not check. Because a lot of things, if you don't tell them, they ain't gonna know. Now, we had some people in government who doesn't know what's going on in their ministry. We had some people in government who doesn't know what's going on in this country. We had some serious leaders who will be making calls and they going to allow things to happen. They only got to see something off, and that call is going to be made in the morning. But I am of the view that those days are gone. So it's you and me who got to be calling these things out. And again, the number to call, 326-8255, if you want to reach this show and voice your displeasure about Portuguese, voice your views on the Royal Beach Club by Royal Caribbean International, whether or not they should be allowed to do certain things, please feel free. And of course, some of our environmentalists are also saying that, the water management, sewage waste management, all of those things that we know when people drinking and getting drunk and eating, a lot of stuff got to go down, a lot of flushing, a lot of this, a lot of that. They don't seem to be happy with the arrangement that is being proposed to manage the waste, solid, liquid, and all other kind of waste that will be derived as a result of utilizing this Royal Beach Club. And I hasten to say, when you got a Royal Caribbean International with 6 or is it 7 of the largest cruise ships in the world. They got the 7 largest cruise. They got 7 cruise ships over 220,000 gross tons. You know how huge those things are. And they got another litany of cruise ships over 100 gross tons. Very few less than 100 gross tons, if any. And when you got these huge ships, you got a ship like one of the largest ships carrying over 6,000 passengers, and then another 2,500 crew. That's almost 10,000 people on one ship. So what you expect? You expect they wouldn't know about managing waste? They know better than everybody in the world when it comes to safety and pollution prevention, because they have to comply on each of those ships with all of the international regulations dealing with safety under the SOLAS Convention and pollution prevention under the MARPOL Convention. And I could guarantee you, dear listener, there is no entity that are inspected more than ships for safety and pollution prevention, and now for security as well. So a ship is inspected. They're liable to be inspected at any port they enter by what you call port state inspectors, the people from that country who have been authorized to inspect visiting ships. They have to be inspected once annually by the country that registered that ship. And I can tell you, the Bahamas is number 1 in the world in registering cruise ships, because we have more cruise ships under the Bahamas flag than any other country in the world. Well, of course, we got like 6 or 7 or maybe 8 countries ahead of us when it comes to how many ships in total we have on our flag. But when it comes to cruise ships, we are number 1, baby. And we have been number 1 from way back. And we can continue to be number 1 because we're just good at dealing with cruise ships. And cruise ships love to know that they have they have Nassau written on their stern, because the Bahamas is a friendly country. The Bahamas have good laws. And these are the main reasons why. And with the Bahamas, they can bring any crew on the ship so long as that crew member is certified by the SCCW code. So they got leverage. Plus, they don't have to pay taxes. Well, they have to pay fees. We ain't registering there for nothing. We can get 30-40 grand from each cruise ship just for having you on our register. Plus, of course, every time we do something, we charge a couple of dollars for that. But that's what it's all about. But these ships are inspected at least once a year by an authorized inspector, an inspector that has been authorized by the Bahamas Maritime Authority to be able to conduct inspection. And you're talking 9-10 hours on one ship just to do that 16 or 18 pages of inspection, tick-offs and yes and no and maybe and this is the reason why not and all the rest of that. And you got to watch the crew do firefighting drill. You got to go on. I used to be a port state inspector, so I can tell you. Right? And I also was a flag state inspector for various ships. I've done quite a few ships on flag state inspection, so I can tell you that is even more detailed than a port state inspection. But then they got to be surveyed every year by what you call a classification study. These are the experts that was there from the time the ship was being built. And when they do your survey, they do it against the SOLAS Convention for Safety, the MARPOL Convention for Pollution Prevention, and the STCW Convention against certification of crew members and personnel working on board the ship. And they don't cut no corners, people. You can have a group of surveyors go on a cruise ship and they're there for the whole week doing their annual surveys. And they're going through that ship with a fine-tooth comb to ensure that the I's are all dotted and the T's are all crossed. So, nobody can tell me Royal Caribbean don't know how to put a waste management, a water management, waste management system at Royal Beach Club. Because they're the best in the world at it. Bar none. So, while some of our environmentalists may have concerns, I need to know the details of your concern. I have no issues if you haven't concern, because I have some concerns too. But one thing it ain't gonna be about is safety and pollution prevention, because I know better. I know better because I inspected ships, because I surveyed ships. So it's hard to convince me that a ship owner such as RCCL, the largest, Carnival is the largest in the world, this is the second largest, wouldn't know how to put together a waste management system for a location on a key. Well, Paradise Island is not a key, but that section is a little spot. Yeah, they know how to do that, and I can guarantee you, if they don't, if you have any issues with what they do, they will make the adjustments. So yeah, if you have an issue, you need to give the details, and I can tell you they will make the adjustments, whatever. Don't say it can't be done, because it could be done. Okay, we want to go to our zero carbon emissions by the year 2050. How long goes that? How long from now is that? That's basically this 2023, 27 years from now. Don't think because they say 2050, that's 50 years. 27 years from now, the world wants zero carbon emissions. And this is not only from ships, this is not only from airplanes, this is not only from cars, this is from any motor or machinery that pushes out exhaust from combustible engines, because that exhaust is going to have a lot of carbon in it. And carbon, my friend, is what we burn to create combustion. The fuel that we squirt in there, when that burn, it gives off a lot of carbon. Because fuel comes from the ground. Fuel, oil, comes from the earth. Trees store carbon in the earth. Seagrass store carbon in the earth. Mangroves store carbon in the earth. So there's a balance going on here. There's a balance between the amount of carbon being put into the air, because trees exhale carbon dioxide. right? Trees inhale carbon dioxide and they exhale oxygen. And the oxygen that they exhale is what we need to intake, and we exhale carbon dioxide. So every time you breathe, you're putting carbon dioxide in there. Every single breath. When you exhale in carbon dioxide. And you inhale some too. But you're not going to use what you inhale because you're going to use the oxygen. And then you're going to exhale carbon. Every animal on the earth exhales. Every tree on the earth takes in carbon dioxide. So there's a balance. But that balance is not only between the trees and the animals. That balance has been affected by the things that we humans do. No other animal was involved in this, and only humans. We decided we want to light fire because it's cold. Or we want to light fire because we want to smoke out some mosquito. Or whatever reason we want to light a fire. Without realizing that every time we light a fire, what is burning is releasing carbon into the air. When we have a forest fire, or brush fire, whatever we call it, a lot of carbon is being released into the environment. Whenever an engine that we built throws the exhaust up, whether it be a generator that is providing power for the city, whether it be a generator that you have in case your city power go down, you kick in your generator, you're pushing carbon in there. When you start your car, that carbon monoxide that's coming from your combustion engine, that is coming out your tailpipe and going in there. So because we were so combustion engine conscious and we want things to go fast, even airplanes, we have so much carbon multiplied and got in the air that at this state of the game, in 2023, the air is charged with carbon. And what does the carbon do? When you get so much, what carbon does is it absorbs heat. So when the sun shines through and heat up the earth in the daytime, and the heat have to come from the earth and rise. And sometimes, you go outside and you look at the road and you see like water on the road. When it's hot. You know the rain? That ain't water. That's heat coming up off the road to go back in the environment. And when that heat goes up, it's supposed to keep rising until it gets way out in the abyss, right? Beyond the Earth's environment. But what happens is, because there's so much carbon, and our natural process of trees and seagrass meadows and what else takes in the carbon? All the trees, the seagrass meadows, so the water plants and the land plants, they're the ones that what they call sequestrates. For the scientists, I know scientists, but I think that's the word they've been reading all along. They sequestrates carbon by filtering it, taking it in, and storing it in the earth. Right? That's what they do. And they cannot do that fast enough. Because man has made so much machinery that is sending that carbon in air that the natural way of taking that out of the air is too slow. And because of that, we realize that it's getting hotter now. Because what the carbon did is they formed a circle around the earth, a couple 100 feet up, around the whole earth is a circle of carbon. And this carbon is so thick that the heat cannot penetrate it to go out. So the heat that is trapped is now becoming trapped on the earth. That's why we having so much heat. When we're small, we never used to be this hot. But what the world is saying, the United Nations and all the rest of the world, but from the Paris Agreement or whatever they call that thing, what they're saying is that if this continues, within 25 years, within 27 years from now, it will be so bad that that heat is going to cause the average daily temperature to move up 1.5 degrees centigrade, and that's what 2.5, 3 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know the maths, but 1.5 degrees centigrade is going to be so hot if it goes to 2 degrees. Once it goes over 1.5 degrees centigrade, hotter every day, because the carbon that circles out, that carbon is not going to let the heat out, because carbon also absorbs the heat, and the heat will spread around the whole earth. And you know what happened? The heat is going to spread to the poles, the north and south pole, which is supposed to be cold, right? Always frozen. And the heat is going to melt some of that ice. And when that ice continues to melt, the oceans, because now when it melts, we're going straight into the sea. Excuse me. And you're talking about hard ice. Like how we have oil underneath us, the poles have nothing but ice. And that ice is to keep a balance with the earth. It's cold on the poles and hot near the equator. That ice melts, the ocean starts to rise, and once the ocean rises, it will rise by 1 inch, then 6 inches. And it's going to continue, and then a foot, and 2 foot, and 3 foot. And sooner or later, the sea will rise with 20 feet high. You know, when we have a hurricane and they have a 20-foot water wall coming in, we know what that does too, right? You can imagine if the ocean gradually rises to 20 feet, the whole island of Nassau and the Bahamas could be covered, because, you know, we're some of the lowest lying, what you call it, in the world, properties in the world. Land. We're the lowest lying land in the world. Well, we got some lower than us, but we're very low. So we will be in jeopardy. And most of the earth will start losing a lot of land. And a lot of people will die. Right? And a lot of... we can't use half of the earth no more. And you think it can stop? Not if man don't stop. So what the United Nations is saying is, we have to take action to make sure that does not happen. And so what are some of the actions? I just wanted to throw it out there so you could get a better appreciation for what this carbon emissions and global warming is all about. Because initially I thought it was a fluke. I said, global warming, man, that's the time. Maybe 500 years ago they had this. No, but 500 years ago, they didn't have man putting all this carbon in there to block the whole heat from getting out. So that's a different kind of operation we're dealing with here. So every time a plane flies, from the time the plane start the engine till he reach where he going, and you know, we get millions of well, maybe not millions, but hundreds of thousands of planes flying every day. You would be amazed to know the amount of planes that actually fly and pushing carbon in there every day. And then the ships. They say the airplanes contribute about 2.5% of the entire carbon emission going in there on a daily basis. The ships, only 3%. So the planes contribute almost as much as those 50,000 ships out there contribute to the amount of carbon they put in there. What about the cars? Do you know that cars contribute up to 28% of carbon going into there? But cars, something we could fix, eh? Ships is something we could fix. Planes is something. What they're now moving to do, dear listener, is they're going to capture the carbon out of the exhaust before it reaches in there and store that on board the ship in some of those void spaces. And then from there they get a truck to pick that up and carry that to site where they will convert that carbon from being vapor to being solid by heating it up or cooling it down. I don't know. One of them things they do. The scientists could tell us, but we know they will do some way of acting on that vaporized carbon to turn that into solid or liquid. And in my humble estimation, because I ain't no expert in that area, I imagine when you heat it up, it's going to turn to liquid, and when you cool it down or freeze it, it's going to turn to solid. That's what I imagine. And anybody could correct me on that. Again, 326-8255. We're almost finished, but I'll still take your call, right? So, when they convert that, they put that with all the trees putting it in there. They dig a hole, 100, 200 feet below the earth, and they clear out an area and they just store the carbon there. Because once you store carbon, these trees would put carbon into the earth. If they don't disturb, if we human beings don't disturb the carbon in the trees, sequestrate and put into the earth, they will last for thousands of years, millenniums, 50,000 years before, because the carbon will always be carbon and whenever it escape. And that's why they say when you're cutting down these forests, every time you kill a tree, the carbon from within the tree is being released in there too. So that's a big deal. You know? And this is why we got to do what we're doing with all these ships, changing the engines. This is why they saying that by 2040, all the cars will be battery operated cars. Because they can't afford for us to keep putting, okay, we got a call on the line. They can't afford for us to keep putting this carbon in the air and making it waste and waste and waste so that the poles and so on start. Hello, hold on, I got a call on the line. Caller, you on Maritime Matters, live, sir. Very much. Thank you very much for calling. I don't know how I know it's sir. Yes, sir.
Man, listen. Listen. First of all, thanks, accept the call. Good night, man.
Yeah, man. Good night to you. What's going on?
Man, listen, man. Well, if I ask, okay, sir, are you being paid as a norm, like how talk show host gets paid?
No, I don't. I'm not paid at all. I'm as a matter of fact, I'm paying for the show. You want to help me pay for it?
Okay, man, that's a relief to me.
Yeah, that's why I can talk anything I want to talk, eh?
Yeah, man, that's a relief to me, man, because my brother, man. So,
yes, sir.
Okay. Here's a straight question for you. Has cruise ships did things wrong and were charged in courts?
Yeah, cruise ships, hotels, everybody's do things wrong and get charged. Even some of our local businessmen. Yeah, cruise ships ain't perfect. They make mistakes all the time.
Man, you ain't talking about no hotel. You see what I'm talking about? All the time you were talking about cruise ship. I asked you one question, you tell me hotel and local business. So,
did I answer your question though?
You are the one making this point about what they know. And we understand they know it. No one is refuting the fact that they know the right and the wrong. But you are out here literally saying what these people could do and what they could do, and you are almost bet. Come on, man, bro.
No, I am saying to you that the cruise ships are capable of doing certain things that I am aware of. I said they could do. We have government officials to make sure they do it right, you know. I ain't taking that responsibility away from government, but I am saying to you that these people doing it all the time and they know how it should be done. I say now it's up to us to make sure they do it right. That's a different story.
Okay, so for example, you see, you talk about Royal Caribbean quite a bit, right?
Yes, them are putting a place there. They building the Royal Beach Club, so I'm talking about that.
So why don't you help and tell our government to not back down from the increase that they intend to for head tax? Because Royal Caribbean said that they are increasing their costs.
Well, I would be in support of increasing government's head tax. I would, and what, I'll tell you what these cruise ship conglomerates do. See, I don't want you to think I'm on nobody's side. I just hit these cruise ships just as hard as, and I hit Royal Caribbean very hard tonight. I don't know if you've listened to the whole show, but I'm saying to you, what they do is they try to use that power of bringing people to your country. Do you know that there are some Eastern Caribbean countries that get zero head tax for cruise ship visits because the cruise ship tell them, well, if you charge us when you bring the people in, no more?
I don't know none of them.
Oh, but I know. I can tell you.
Tell me one or two.
And that has been, well, when I was doing all of my
tell me one or two, please.
my brother, I will not call a name right now, but I can guarantee you next week on the show, because we only got 1 minute left. Next week on the show, I will give you a list, and you could Google it yourself, of Eastern Caribbean countries where $0 are paid for head tax.
1 minute left. Royal Caribbean fundamental principle. They come for 70% plus.
70% of head tax?
Their fundamental principle.
On head tax?
On their weight, 70% plus.
That's head tax.
Paradise Island is a plus, sir.
You talking about head tax now, or you talking about something else?
I talk about Royal Caribbean head tax on the whole.
So you saying when they pay the government head tax, they want 70% back?
I am saying, as you said,
Yeah.
they are throwing their weight around, right?
Yes, they do, and that's I have a problem with that.
The principle, right? As they throw their weight around, is 70%, sir.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I think. Let me.
So you were talking about Paradise Island. I'm telling you, Paradise Island is their plus.
No, I'm not following you when you say that plus. That plus what?
Sir, they done beat our government. They done beat our government to smithereens, sir. So do you understand? Our junkanous aren't being paid yet, and the government doesn't let these fellas benefit from our junkanous.
No, but you saying the junkanous that provided performance for Royal Caribbean were not being paid?
Wow.
No, I don't understand, because you need to be precise. I'm trying to follow you.
I'm being precise as I can, sir. In our country, on the ground, year by year, our junkanous are not being paid.
Who is supposed to pay the junkanous?
Okay, you had a question?
Yeah, I have to ask, because you saying they're not being paid. Who are they performing for? Who are not paying them?
I'm not going to answer that question tonight. Here's what I'm going to say to you.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
But Royal Caribbean shouldn't get nothing yet.
Shouldn't get nothing from who?
Well,
I don't know. Shouldn't get nothing from who?
our junkanoo.
Well, if you mean you can give them your junkanoo?
Sir, junkanoo is out there at the port.
Yeah, are they performing for Royal Caribbean or are they performing for the Bahamas government?
I am saying, sir, Royal Caribbean shouldn't get nothing from our junkanoo.
But they're not getting nothing from your junkanoo. What are they getting?
What are you talking about, sir?
When you tell me, you say they're getting something from your junkanoo and they ain't getting paid?
Sir, come on, man.
No, but you need to be clear.
$300+ million from these guys with interest, and they have a 20 or 30-year management control to make sure that they get their money. And you don't hear some of our members of parliament telling you the kind of money these Royal Caribbean will pull in over the next 10 years.
Well, I'm not a junkanoo. I like junkanoo, right? I am a maritime person. Now, if you pulling me into something that I'm unaware of, I cannot clarify that for you.
I am happy that you paying your own money, because I was going to be totally disappointed for you to get paid to fight for these people.
To fight for who, people? Who am I fighting for?
So if you could do maritime, maritime.
But that's what I'm doing.
Well, sir, you could do it differently from the way how you're doing it.
Well,
Invite our people to join, to get jobs, talking like that.
But did you listen? Did you listen? Did you? Yeah, but did you listen to my show? Did you listen to my show when I said that there should be nothing coming off that ship to go to that Paradise Island? They should not even bring a towel. We should have a Bahamian company providing towels, all the jet skis. Did you listen to my show?
I came in a bit late.
Yeah, but then don't come on the show without having all the information and charging me. Because you don't even know what I said.
I think I'm charging you for.
Yeah, you charging me for.
all the intelligence that you have.
Yes.
Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Fight for us.
Well, anyway, if I want you to listen to my whole show and then call back next week.
I'm familiar with you.
Yeah. No, but I want you to.
Maritime experts and knowledge, you know.
Yeah, but I want you to listen to this whole show and next week call back and apologize because what you charging me on, I have licked them left, right, and center. You guys wasn't listening.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. If you think I charge you wrongfully,
yeah, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to make one simple request. So we need you on our side.
But I am on our side. You guys ain't been listening when I was talking, but what our side supposed to be getting?
Okay, so, okay.
All right, sir. Yeah, no, but I appreciate the call. But now don't go. And now if you call and you can charge me something, make sure I call early on in the show because I done cover all of that. But
yeah, man, we need you.
Yeah, man.
I haven't heard no one in Maritime better than you, sir.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for that compliment. I appreciate that.
I'm familiar with you so well.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that. And I am happy you called.
We need you.
Yeah, but anyway, you got my 6 minutes in, and somebody can charge me some more money, so I got to get off now, right? But I appreciate the call, man. And please do call again.
We need you, but on our side.
Now you're talking. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a good fired-up caller. I'm glad he called because, boy, he was charging me some things. I'm trying to figure out if he possibly listened to the show. But I on nobody's side, and I'm about to be on nobody's side. I'm on Maritime side, and I'm on the Bahamas side. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I say good night to Annie Mae. I know she's been up this long. I got to thank my good producer, Mr. Craig Gibson, for running me on for a little extra minute or 2 or 3, I know. And I would like to thank all of the callers. We had some very good calls. We had some very good information for calling the show and expressing their views. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I say to you, Maritime Matters, out.
Sit at the